All right, guys, welcome to a very special edition of this Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So this is, as predicted, this is a review episode of the weekend matches. And I think the best way to start is obviously the Club World Cup final. So Amitabh, I think let's begin with your opinion on the match.
Yes, the trophy that was missing from our trophy cabinet, and finally we have it. Um, at the start of the tournament, of course, the European champions are supposed to win this one, but that has not always been the case, especially for us. So happy to get over the line. It was a closely contested match. We took the lead through Lukaku. Then they equalized a penalty, Thiago Silva handball, and in extra time, 9 minutes, Havertz getting a penalty. Again, we just crossed the line. Um, to their credit, Palmeiras played well, and they did, give a good account of themselves. The support they got was, so nice to see. Something that it's very prevalent in South America. And again, finals no don't need to be analyzed and about strategies. You just need to win them, and I'm so happy that we won. Tuchel gave all the credit to our owner Abramovich, that it is his vision that has led the team here. So again, in the midst of all the, I see, turmoil is a harsh term, but yes, definitely the going has been tough for the past couple of months. We were at the top of the league, and now we are a distant third. So this trophy definitely brings some respite. Again, this may be the last season for Aspilicueta, so a good sign off for him. Maybe we do the same in the League Cup as well. So all in all, great weekend for us, and so happy.
Yeah, I think again, like you said, that in a final, it's all about the victory. But then I do wanna give a couple of shout outs. One to obviously our captain, Aspilicueta. I think there are shouts to now call him Captain Neither Legend 2.0. I mean, the way he handled that penalty situation did not let any pressure come to Kai Havertz, made everyone feel like he was going to be the one to take that penalty, so that whatever Palmeiras players had to say, they would say it to him. And then once everything settled down, died down, then he would pass the ball back to Havertz to take a penalty. And again, Kai Havertz, being a German, we all know how good they are at taking penalties. He actually followed the Jorginho technique of run and then slowing himself down before deciding where to shoot. By that time, the goalkeeper had already decided to make a move to one side, which is what happened. And I think, in my opinion, at least, another shout out to Saul. Like, to be honest, Jorginho did not even come off the bench. I mean, obviously, he didn't start, didn't come off the bench. And then when I was like, why is people bringing on Saul? To be honest, I was a little worried, but then he was just so assured uh, in his display. So yeah, I think a special mention uh, for Saul. I don't really think that he's gonna stay at Chelsea beyond the season, but then we've heard his interviews and he's always been so appreciative of this opportunity. He's always mentioned that it's never going to be easy for him, uh, and he's never complained. He's always been like, even if I go back to Atletico, I will be a better player than I was before I joined Chelsea. So that's just, again, it's about mentality as well. So that's something that really impressed me. The same goes for Lukaku. Like, when Lukaku was substituted, I was like, why is he substituting Lukaku? But then Kai Havertz, I guess he only reserves his best moments for games like this one. So yeah, I'm really happy. Like we said, the only trophy missing from the trophy cabinet. Really happy. Yeah.
Yeah, and even Tuchel with his COVID, he was able to rejoin the team, and Mendy after his AFCON, title-winning run, he joined, and then he was straight away put into the first team. Kepa has been, doing wonderful deputizing in his place. So yeah, some good things, and let's hope that this continues. I'm moving on to the English Premier League. On Saturday, we had Manchester United against Southampton. I don't remember the predictions. I think I said Southampton will win, but And that was not the case. It was a draw, 1-1, and I really don't know. What new I can say about Manchester United and their performance. Southampton followed up their performance against Tottenham. Again, in the same vein, they were attacking, they were dynamic. Played on the front foot. One very interesting comment by Ralph Hasenhuttl after the game was, he said that we knew the United defenders will don't have the pace, so we tried to run in the spaces behind them and stuff. And I think that was nothing short of a slap in the face of United. Saying something. Obviously, it is obvious. I mean, this is. I mean, all of everybody knows this. But to state it in an interview, um, again, just shows how little teams are afraid of United. And previously with teams like Barcelona, United, the Milans, a lot of the matches were won before the kickoff. With the presence and with the stress that the opponents were under, especially when these teams used to play at home. I think that aura has dissipated for United, and again, Radney pointing out the positives. But then you see, they play well in patches for 25 minutes in a 30 minutes in a match, but they are not able to sustain it for 90 minutes. And again, same old, same old, same old. So really don't know where do they go from here. Rahul?
So again, like that's the thing. Right now, the issue seems to be that they're not able to score goals, but then they are at least better in a way, defensively. Whereas under Solskjaer, they were scoring a lot of goals. I don't think that we ever said that scoring goals was a problem under Solskjaer, but then they were conceding a lot of goals as well. So now that he has organized them defensively, they're able to unable to score a lot of goals. Uh, yeah, I think Maguire has been having probably one of the worst seasons that any player has ever had, in my opinion. And I think again the trick that Armando Broja did just made him turn around was like so good to watch. Um, yeah, not really sure if there is much to talk about here.
I think one player who has like gone under the radar, especially with his bad performances, is Bruno Fernandes. A lot of spotlight is on Ronaldo and Maguire, Medfred. But I haven't, I mean, if someone asks me what is Bruno Fernandes contributed to the team, I don't know. Maybe Ratnit does. But again, this just shows if you have a couple of bad heads, how it can just destroy. Pogba with his, I mean, since for 2 years now, his contract situation has been out in the public. Um, Now Ronaldo is here. He wants to play as a striker. You don't know. Marshall was not happy. Rashford seems to be, and everybody wants to play. Nobody is performing. God bless Manchester United. I think we can move on. Uh, in another match, Everton played Leeds at home. Lampard's first match at Goodison. They won it convincingly, 3-0. Around your views?
So I personally feel like at least something that I feel. I think Lampard doesn't really like Leeds. Lampard doesn't really like Bielsa. It's something that's not public, but then ever since the whole Spygate scandal, I think Lampard has, in a way, lost a little bit of respect as well for Leeds and Bielsa, which is the reason why he never says it out loud. But then every time Lampard's team they're facing Leeds, he just brings out a different team, which is what happened even at Chelsea, the 3-1 victory, even now 3-0 victory. So yeah, I think he did take the whole Spygate thing a little personally, in my opinion. So yeah, I think he just knows that against Leeds, you just need to run and run and run, and that's how, that's the first step of getting the better of a team managed by Bielsa. So yes, at least in these matches till now, he has been able to get the best out of his team. Everton again missing some key players, but yeah, someone like Seamus Coleman I think scored a goal after 3 years almost. I do think that they're going to be okay because yeah, their players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin is back. Even Richarlison is now back. Even scored a wonderful goal. So yeah, I think it's gonna be okay for Everton. But yeah, I think you are a Leeds expert, so you should talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds definitely has a performance like this in them, especially away from home. And of course, the new manager bounce. And see, the Everton has a good squad. They have a good squad of players. The problem was never the players, but maybe the way the previous coach Benitez wanted them to play. And at home, I mean, yeah, they were favorites to win and they won it, so not an issue. In the late night match on Saturday, we had Norwich City against Manchester. No surprises here. Sterling with a hat trick and Phil Foden with the fourth goal. Manchester City winning 4-0. They now have a 9-point lead. And I mean, Liverpool has played one match less. So if they can, um, Liverpool can close the gap to 6 points. Again, pretty standard victory for Manchester United up and Manchester City, and Norwich deep in mire relegation favorites. Nothing really much to talk about here. Rahul?
Yeah, like you said, nothing much to talk about here. I mean, expected result. Yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday we had Burnley hosting Liverpool. Liverpool came out with a 1-0 win, but I think Klopp defined the match very aptly, like a potential banana skin. It was raining and the conditions were tough. Burnley actually had so many chances. They could have scored at least two goals. Of course, Liverpool could have as well. But Fabinho scoring the winner and three very, very important points for Liverpool because the room for error now just does not exist. They have to hope that, City slip up somewhere along the path and Liverpool have to like be perfect from here till the end of the season even if they want to try and catch City. Of course, they have one match that they'll play against each other, and that becomes crucial as well. So, yeah, Mane, Salah, both were back. They started the match. So, again, had Burnley taken their chances, because I remember the new striker Weghorst had a couple of great chances. Rodriguez had a one-on-one with Allison, but it was not supposed to be, I guess. So 3 points to Liverpool. Rahul?
Yeah, like I mean, it was always going to be a difficult game. Any game is when you go to turf more, but then the conditions made it even more difficult. It's all about finishing the chances, which is what Liverpool did. I think Fabinho has scored like 5 goals in his last 7 matches, and I think whenever Fabinho has scored, Liverpool have never lost. On top of that, the goals that he has scored in his last 7 matches, that's more than the combined goals that he has scored before these 7 matches. So yeah, I think he's got 4 goals in 142 matches and now 5 in his last 7. So yeah, I think it's a great record for Liverpool. Like you said, that someone like Luis Diaz did not even come off the bench. Like that's how good in a way they are now because they have been at least as of now they are pretty good with injuries. Even their players are back from African Cup of Nations. So yeah, I think he went to his tried and tested formula of Salah, Firmino, Mane. I think even Jota didn't really start the match, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, and again, there has been always been this kind of an animosity between Klopp and Sean Dyche. I think uh, in terms of like Dyche was against the idea of 5 substitutes, whereas Klopp was like they need the rule of 5 substitutes. So yeah, there's an added layer of that as well.
Yes, that there is. Um, in the other match, Newcastle won 1-0 against Aston Villa. Um, Kieran Trippier scoring a great free kick. It was actually a deflected free kick. So at home, Newcastle are just steering clear of the potential trouble they were in. Of course, they made some great signings, and again a match where nobody. I mean, both the teams, went on the offensive, tried to play attractive football, and yeah, Newcastle came out on top, 1-0. Rahul?
Yeah, like you said, that it's like we are seeing two different Newcastle United side. one prior to the January transfer window and one after that. So obviously it makes sense as well. I mean, like we've talked about this before as well. It's not just about signings, but I think the kind of signings that they've made, in a way, they've actually got it right. Uh, the players that actually are helping them, they clearly, I mean, to be honest, like I was personally very much against the idea of Newcastle appointing Eddie Howe because of his defensive record, which is so poor. But then that's the thing, because of Newcastle's money, that is in a way compensated for that record. And Kieran Trippier, I think again, someone who knows the Premier League, is a leader. Even though he's right back, but he has been scoring like quality goals. So yeah, wonderful free kick. And yeah, they held on to that. Whereas again, like we talked about Aston Villa, for them this season it's all about safety. If they can manage that, so I mean, again, it's like this is the kind of game that Newcastle need to win because of playing at Sports Direct Arena or St James's Park, whatever you want to call it. Uh, they know that they have the home support behind them. So it's the game that they need to get it right. Maybe once they go away from home, because even if you take a look at their victory over Everton, it was a victory at home. So yes, we will probably see a different Newcastle once they play away from home. But then yes, a 1-0 victory is, I think, a victory that makes sense.
Yeah, when I was watching the match, the a thought popped in my head that I mean they got Kieran Trippier on a relatively a cheap amount, 10 12 million, and why was there nobody else, not only in the Premier League, but right back worth 10 12 million in the form of Kieran Trippier? I'm sure a lot of teams would have done with him in their squads, but there was just one bid which Atletico accepted, and here he is. Okay, moving on. Tottenham against Wolves. Tottenham loses at home again 2-0. I think Hugo Lloris was at fault in both the goals, in the second one more than the first. And again, this fixation of playing from the back, it irritates me a lot because the potential of something good happening from there is quite low. It will either be, a run of the mill situation, or it will lead to a disaster, as it happened in the second goal. And again, a match in which Tottenham displayed their soft underbelly. If you go after them, if you attack them, if you stay back and you let them counter at their own free will, maybe they'll have an upper hand. But if just like Southampton, if you attack them, put them under pressure. Even in this match, Wolves had the first goal in the 6th minute, and from there on, they don't know how to react. Maybe there are not enough, you know, um, strong-headed individuals in the team that you require to manage that situation. Someone around which the team can rally. So yeah, Wolves, maybe with this win, they have somehow brought themselves in the reckoning for the 4th spot, because United dropping points left, right, center. We'll discuss the next match. Even West Ham dropped points. Arsenal is there or thereabouts. They beat a potential direct rival in Tottenham, and they themselves have been playing well, garnering points. So maybe there is an outside chance that they'll throw their hat in the ring as well. But coming to Tottenham, the huge downside is that patience is not Antonio Conte's best friend. And if he does not see things improving, he did get a couple of signings through in the transfer window. He also let go of Dele Alli. But if the results do not match the kind of ambition that the club has, um, again, anything is possible, especially with Conte at the helm. Nothing. I've been not really, sad for Tottenham, but again, they are in a very sad state of affairs. Rahul?
I think let's talk about Wolves first. So Wolves actually have a very good record against Tottenham, especially at their stadium. So I read a record that Jimenez, he has scored in 3 of his last Premier League appearances away at Spurs, and whenever he has scored in those 3 matches, Wolves have won all 3 of those matches. Similarly, like overall as well, Wolves have scored 4 times in 6 appearances against Tottenham. So yeah, I think he's got a great record against Tottenham. And one thing that we don't really talk about much, or we doesn't really emphasize much, is actually Wolves' defense. They've actually got the second best defense in the league. I think they have conceded 16 goals, and only Manchester City have conceded 14. That is two less than them. So just imagine they've actually conceded lesser goals than Chelsea as well as Liverpool. So you just know that if Wolves are going to score or they're going to take a lead, then it's obviously going to be so difficult for the other team to score past them, which is what happened. I think other than that, I think Tottenham, Conte again realized that this job is not the job that he was expecting to be. It's a lot more difficult than that. I think even the whole defense is like so shit, to be honest. I mean, like again, people. I don't know. I don't want to bring Jose Mourinho into this, but I probably will because this is what's happened. Like, maybe he was right all along when he was at United. Even then, he was like, these players, they are not good enough. And then he left and just look at United now. Similarly, at Tottenham, he used to make fun or maybe criticize a lot of his players. But then just look at what even Conte has been able to do or not able to do with these players. I mean, Tanganga, Sanchez, these players are not players, first of all, like who will give you a Champions League title, but they will not even get you to the Champions League. I just don't think. I mean, I understand that Conte has gotten rid of at least four players, and he has been able to get in two players, Bentenker and Kulusevski. But then, like you said, he needs to be here for the long haul. Otherwise, there is no short-term fix to this first team. To be honest.
Yes, yes. Again, the only thing that I can say is maybe in hindsight, and hindsight is always perfect, Mourinho took the job for two wrong clubs, especially after his debacle at Chelsea the second time around. Um, but then, yes, we all know that he was waiting for the Man U job, and I think, yeah, I think his image was gone after the Man U thing. So Tottenham was his best bet. Yeah, we can move on. Let's see what happens now. Finally, we had Leicester against West Ham. Leicester having their own set of troubles to deal with. West Ham vying for the top four. West Ham actually took the lead in this match through Jared Bowen. And again, the crowd made their displeasure shown at the Tin Park Stadium. Um, Again, watching this match, I was thinking that Leicester haven't really sold a lot of their assets. Yes, Tielemans is now most likely to leave with only 18 months. I mean, a year will be left in the summer. But somehow, maybe it is just one of those things. Maybe this just shows how important Vardy was to the squad, scoring all those goals. But maybe it was just a lack of confidence. Sometimes you need the rub of the green going your way. So not, I mean, cannot really pinpoint what happens. Maybe they overachieved, last couple of seasons, who knows. So but they turned around the performance. They got the equalizer before the halftime, got the lead, and in the dying stages we had a lot of goals in the extra time this week actually. So West Ham scored again 1 point, and Leicester will get a lot of confidence from this performance, no doubt. And as far as West Ham is concerned, the race for the fourth position is concerned, no team wants to take it, quite frankly, with the way things have been going. And now with Wolves 1 point ahead of Spurs, I think even they are in the picture. And this race for that position will go on in the weeks to come. Rahul?
I think again, a little bit of controversy surrounding the West Ham starting lineup. I think maybe Zuma was supposed to start, but I think he had to pull out just before the match due to an illness. So Issa Diop replaced him in the starting lineup. Other than that, I think there's so much talk about Jared Bowen. Wow, man, he's been so good this season. If I'm not wrong, he even scored against Chelsea. But then, yeah, since Christmas, I think he's got like 10 games, and in those 10 games, he scored 7 goals. Other than that, I think only Mohamed Salah with 25 has more goal involvements than Jared Bowen this season. Jared Bowen with 8 goals and 8 assists, so 16 goal involvements in total this season. So obviously the stats speak for themselves. I think we've already had Steven Gerrard talk about Jacob Ramsey, that he should get an England call up. Now we've heard so much about David Moyes talking about Jared Bowen getting an England call up, and I probably think that he will and he should. Other than that, yes, West Ham doing West Ham things. I think it's not these. They've had some great results, but it's these draws that have been hurting them. Other than that, yes, I've always maintained that Leicester and Rogers. I think Rogers is the dead man walking. I personally don't see him last the season. Again, it's like the defense is so disorganized, and it's again the frailty of conceding from set pieces, which is what comes to the fore every time. Uh, Conceding late goals, they conceded twice against Spurs as well, and now another late equalizer against West Ham. So yes, I don't know, maybe he needs to find someone. Maybe he just needs to organize the defense. I mean, I understand that Fofana's injury has been so huge. I don't know, but then even the replacement, they've not been so good. Like Westergaard again, not really. Even the player that he brought in, they got injured. So I'm not really very high right now on Leicester City.
Yeah, I can understand that, and yeah, let's see what they do to turn this around. Definitely not in the race for top
And
four this season at least. Yeah.
actually, one more point. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at the trend with Leicester in the past couple of seasons at least, so under Brendan Rodgers, they've actually started both the seasons very well, and they've dropped off in both the seasons. Like in both the seasons, they were in the top four, but then seasons ended and they were not in the top four. So this season, they've already had a very poor first half. So I don't expect them to get any better than they did in the first half of the season. That's another worrying factor for me.
Point taken out. I think that covers the Premier League. We can shift to the Bundesliga now. On Friday, Leipzig faced off against Cologne. They won the match 3-1, and 2-2. Olmo and Angelino scored the goals for Leipzig. Um, Again, barring their defeat to Bayern Munich, New Year has been kind to them. They have performed well, and again, just a display of that positive run that they were on before they met Bayern Munich last week. Rahul?
I think yeah. So like what Leipzig or even someone like Dortmund can do is uh, win all their other matches except for the match against Bayern Munich to at least have any chance of winning the Bundesliga. So yeah, since the winter break, Dortmund, Leipzig, they lost to Bayern, but yes, ever since other than that match, they have been kind of almost perfect. So yes, we expected them and we predicted that they would win this match, and they did. Which is another reason why, uh, if like with Dortmund at least, uh, even if like Dortmund beat Bayern somehow, but then the problem with Dortmund is that they don't win, they drop points against other teams as well. But at least with Leipzig, if they can keep doing this, then maybe they can actually, under good coaching, they can actually give someone like Bayern a little bit of competition from next season onwards. But yeah, I think a typical 3-1 win. And Kunku again can't stop scoring. Dani Olmo back in a way. He's had a slow start because of injuries. Even the left back Angelino scored. I'm just surprised that Andre Silva didn't score. He has been again so hot since Dominic Tedesco took over. So yeah, but again they got the result. But then uh, if you take a look at this, like they have been scoring goals, but they've had this thing wherein they've been conceding this late consolation goals. Like they are not really conceding a lot, but they're not keeping clean sheets either. That's just my only. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the teams, especially the defensive unit, prides themselves on a clean sheet, and yeah, let's see what they try and do. As long as they're scoring, more goals at the other end, it should be okay. But yes, again, something that they should look into. On Saturday, we had the upset of the season, at least for me. Bochum out of nowhere defeated the mighty, high and mighty Bayern Munich 4 goals to 2. Bochum actually had 4 goals in the first half itself. They were leading 4-1 at halftime. Both the goals for Munich were scored by Lewandowski. Um, Again, out of the blue, nobody expected this result, and actually nobody knew what to say after the match, apart from, of course, um, this season actually Bayern have had this tendency to concede a lot of goals, something that we were talking about Leipzig right now. And again, we were talking about the soft underbelly for Bayern Munich, Upamecano and Sule. Their performance in the first half was symbolic. Upamecano was actually substituted at halftime, and with the news that came last week that Sule is going to Dortmund, that just again shows that Bayern were ready to let go of him. But again, they have this defensive catastrophe in them every now and then. And again, frankly, still I believe that it doesn't matter for the Bundesliga, but this is something that the opponents will really try to take advantage of in the Champions League. And again, Nagelsmann has to come up with a plan and do something maybe strategy wise, maybe personnel wise, to eradicate this from their system, because we saw their cup loss against Gladbach 5-0. Even in other matches, they have been conceding more goals than they usually do. So, yes, defense is now, especially because now that we have the Champions League starting this week, um, again, something that Bayern will be wary of, and again, their opponents will try to capitalize on. Rahul?
Can you remind me who left Bayern? Okay, David Alaba left. Okay, yeah, David Alaba left, and they replaced Upamecano.
And Boateng as well.
Yeah, Boateng and Alaba both left. Yeah, and they only replaced him with Upamecano, and now even Zula is going to leave. Well, yeah. So even Kimmich was like after the match, this is happening far too often. I mean, even though it's not, but then to Bayern, it is something that's happening, and we have said that it is something that's happened already 3-4 times this season. I think the 5-0, like you mentioned, lost to Gladbach. I think even the loss to Frankfurt in the league. I think they lost away to Augsburg as well. I mean, that's the thing, with a club like Bayern, even one loss and you're in crisis. So again, losing 1-0, 2-0 is okay, but then yes, some of these matches wherein they've been just so inefficient is like not acceptable to a club like Bayern Munich. Uh, a couple of stats, I guess. So Bayern Munich have conceded 4 goals in the first half since for the first time since November 1975. That's like 46 years. They've not conceded like that. And another stat being Bochum. I know Bochum have not been in the Bundesliga for a lot of the seasons, but even they have scored 4 goals against a team in the Bundesliga for the first time in 14 years since like November 2007. So just imagine. Uh, and I probably feel like there's another thing to talk about here. I know like this is not a criticism of Bayern or Lewandowski. Lewandowski scored 2 goals, but it's in a way similar to the Tottenham situation with Harry Kane. The fact that they've only got one top striker. It's like if they sign a second striker, that striker will know that that striker will not get into the side because they will always be a backup. It's like at Tottenham, people will know that Harry Kane is the first choice, so whoever comes in will be the second choice. But I actually feel like I understand why Tottenham won't sign a striker, but at least at Bayern Munich, you have so many games and you have so many competitions. Plus Lewandowski is already 33. I do feel like Bayern do need another striker, and Choupo-Moting is not really enough. I do feel like they need someone younger, or maybe who's again going to score at least 15, 20 goals for them, who can at least be an able replacement, someone like Lewandowski when he's injured or when he needs to be rotated. I mean, maybe they just had one eye on their match against Salzburg in the Champions League, but that's just another thing that I noticed.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, there's always a case of having a better number two striker, but then again, how many David Origis does the world actually have? So maybe Choupo-Moting is their best bet right now. And if for Bayern Munich, for a club their size and stature, the wages are pretty high. So maybe they try and put all their eggs in the first 11 or first 15, and then they try to look for someone who will just be part of the squad. Um, Anything you'd like to say out?
Uh, have we talked about the Dortmund game?
No, no, we're about to.
Yeah, so let's. I think we can now.
Yeah. On Sunday, Dortmund capitalized on the Bayern loss, and for a change, they won away from home, 3-0 against Union Berlin. Marco Reus scoring a couple of goals and Guerrero adding the third. Um, Now the lead at the top is again cut down to 6 points in the Bundesliga. But again, I think uh, that title is done and dusted. We really don't have to think a lot about it. Bayern is not going to lose every week. Let's see, even if they lose once more in the league from now till the end of the season. But yeah, without Haaland, I'm sure Dortmund will take a lot of heart from this victory. Anything you'd like to add, Rahul?
Yeah, I think it's just more about self-respect. They just couldn't lose another match. Yeah.
We can move to League R now. Get that out of the way. PSG winning the match in extra time again. As I said, a lot of late goals. So they won against Rennes. Mbappe scored. So I think the only talking point here is PSG will get one more day's rest than Real Madrid before they clash on Tuesday. Um, Again, not really sure how serious they were about the match. Maybe they just wanted to get the formalities completed, get this out of the way. To top it all off, they actually won it. So their lead at the top is still at worst intact. Um, Anything you'd like to add, Rahul? PSG?
I think yeah, they got the job done in a way. Like it's all about how PSG want to treat a match, especially in League One, and they got the 3 points. That's what matters. Messi got another assist. Mbappe, I think, his 12th goal of the season. So yeah, great result for them.
Yeah, moving on, La Liga. On Friday, we had Sevilla against Elche. Sevilla with a lot of indifferent performances and results of late. They actually managed to get this one over the line. I remember this. I think I predicted that how many draws can Sevilla actually have. So, uh, yeah, they won this 2-0. Papu Gomez and Mir scoring 2 goals again in the 70th, 75th minute. So it was actually late in the, mid second half. But they'll be happy to get this over the line. Again, we'll talk about Madrid's performance as well. They drew at, they were away at Villarreal. So they drew. So again, 2 points gained net for Sevilla. Good performance and overall a good weekend for them. Rahul?
Yeah, I think we expected Sevilla to win. I think so. Another thing that I would like to talk about is I think we're seeing this new crop or generation of Spanish strikers. So when Spain were playing, I think in the European Championship, we were like Spain don't really have any striker now. I think Morata again, someone who's a hit and miss guy. Ferran Torres turning more and more into a number 9 now. Even some like Rafa Mir and even some like Espanyol's Raul de Tomas. We'll talk about him later once we talk about the Barcelona match. So I think again this match it's like something that we expected. 2-0 victory at home. It makes sense in a way. Uh, and I think the Real Madrid versus Villarreal match. So I read a stat that this is actually their fifth draw in a row. Like Real Madrid's draw to Villarreal away from home in like 5 matches at Villarreal Stadium. This is their fifth draw in a row. And like we said, that there was a likelihood of them dropping points because of how over reliant they are in a way on Karim Benzema. And I think the strategy was pretty clear from the very beginning that Benzema would not play in this match so that he can probably start in the match against PSG. Uh, and that's what happened. So yes, it's a draw. Even though I think Vinicius was there, I think they had a lot of chances as well. But then the goalkeeper, I think Villarreal, Rui, whatever, he had some great saves to make. Uh, Bale all of a sudden came out of exile in a way and started the match and uh, had the goalkeeper make so many saves. But yeah, they just couldn't find a way past him.
So the fact that Ancelotti actually went with Bale shows us how serious the Benzema injury is, because we know that Ancelotti really does not like to rotate a lot of players. Even in December, when we sort of started this, there was always an opinion floating around that why does he need to play the same team over and over again. And I think this is coming back to haunt them. When they started off after the new year, initially we said it's okay. It was actually because Sevilla was also not making rapid strides, so we were like, it's okay. But now that run of indifferent form has gone on for quite a while now. And again, maybe like for PSG, they had one eye on their match tomorrow, so maybe that distracted them. But again, and also once I think we were discussing about who is better. I mean, who would we rather pick, Lewandowski and Benzema? And we both said that his importance to the team that he plays in, that makes him Benzema a little more potent, a little more important. So without him, the goals are drying up. Vinicius is having, off performances now and then, and that is just all coming at the wrong time for Real Madrid right now. Let's see what happens, how the quarterfinal turns out. Moving on, Atletico Madrid at home against just a sec,
Getafe.
Getafe. Yeah, they won 4-3. Uh, Again, one of those matches, like their win 3-2 against, again, I forget the opponents,
Valencia.
but Valencia, yeah. So even then we said, how many comebacks can you make? They just made another comeback. But at home, you should not be conceding 3 goals, especially if you're Atletico. So they can either rejoice this result or they can think about how to improve in the future. Um, Now they're in the fourth position. Let's see. Let's see. Now Barcelona and them are fighting. Betis actually won this week, so good for them. Let's see how it pans out. Not really again sure of their performance and overall what they can achieve this season with such performances. Rahul?
Oh yeah. My God. Like this is like I think sixth game in a row where they have conceded 2 goals or more. There's another stat that like in Valencia 3-2, so it was 5 goals, and then Barcelona 4-3, it was 7 goals. Sorry, yeah, 4-2, it was 6 goals, and now 4-3, 7 goals. So the next game is probably going to be 8 goals involving Atletico. Uh, I think again the goal, like I think the goal against Valencia, even now it was Mario Hermoso. The defender scored a wonderful goal. Again, a striker would be proud of to score a goal like that. Um, Other than that, I think Yannick Carrasco, who was supposed to start the match, I think he was diagnosed with COVID, so obviously couldn't really start the match. It was Angel Correa who started. Luis Suarez actually missed a penalty in the opening stages of the match. Uh, Quique Sanchez Flores, the Getafe manager, former Atletico manager, got a great homecoming in a way. Got a lot of love from the Atletico supporters. But then Getafe have been like this ever since he took over. I think they were probably in the relegation zone, but they've actually come out of it, and now they've actually had some decent results. Even beat Real Madrid 1-0 in the first match since the winter break. So yes, and when you look at how Atletico have been performing, we knew that this was going to be a close match, which is what it was. Now, Atletico actually had a player sent off Felipe for a reckless tackle, but still they managed to score a winner even when they were down to 10 men. Is actually a little commendable. I know we've criticized Atletico a lot, but here, I mean, I'm not saying that this just absolves Atletico or Simeone of everything. But yes, they got the point. They got the job done. But yeah, like conceding 3 goals like this, it's not acceptable.
Yeah. On Sunday we had Levante against Real Betis. Again, as we said, Real Betis won the match 4-2. Nabil Fekir scoring a couple of goals for Betis. So Right now, they're in the third place, 4 points above Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who have played a game less. So technically, if they win both the teams win their match in hand. So, are in the fight for the top four is going to be something to look forward to. We had the Catalan derby, Espanyol against Barcelona against um, Frankie de Jong, 96th minute equalizer. Match ended in a 2-2 draw. There were two red cards for Espanyol and one for Barcelona. Oh, it was actually loot. Okay. And yeah, again, something that I don't know if Barcelona should be happy with 1 point away from home, or they should have gone for all 3 points. But given the situation of the match, I think they'll take that 1 point as well. Um, Again, a work in progress. Xavi trying to implement what he wants to. Rahul?
Yeah, I think even Javi said that this was 2 points dropped for Barcelona. And again, just look at the team that Barcelona have, so many star players. And again, I personally think that it was 2 points dropped. Uh, but then we talked about Spanish strikers cropping up now. So another one that we saw was Raul de Tomas, I think former Real Madrid player that Real Madrid in a way uh, let go of. So yes, ever since he has left Real Madrid and found some consistency, with the number of games that he's played, he has actually been a decent finisher. We could probably see him being selected by Luis Enrique, or maybe he has already been selected once. Let's see. But yeah, he's on the verge of getting an international call up. Yes, this match kind of hurts Barcelona more because of the fact that Real Betis won their match, and even Atletico in the end won their match. So I kind of feel like it's all about a little bit about Real Betis. Like maybe the fixtures, the head-to-head matches will play a big part in who finishes in the top four.
Yeah, yeah. The head-to-head counts when a couple of teams are on the same points. So we still have quite a bit of distance till we go there. Let's see what happens. Moving on to the Serie A. On Saturday, we had Lazio against Bologna, standard 3-0 win for Lazio. Then we had a great match, Napoli against Inter Milan. I mean, I think this was a great advert for the Serie A. If someone who was not, um, frequent to Serie A matches, and for the first time you want to show the product to someone, I think this was a great match. Both the teams on played attackingly. We always have this fear before such big matches that teams will try to cancel each other out. Even though this was a draw, that was not the case. Both the teams were going for it. There were balls hitting the post, the bar, keepers making fantastic saves, last ditch tackles. Again, it was such a wonderful performance by both the teams. Rahul?
Oh yes, this was a great match. I think between two teams who just went for it, in my opinion. And again, a result that kind of suits Inter Milan more because they just couldn't, lose two matches in a row. I mean, after they lost to Milan, this was a game wherein they knew that they had to come out all guns blazing, and that's what they did. Uh, I think it started with Insigne scoring a penalty, and then it looked like again that didn't really stop Napoli, from trying to score a second. I think Matteo Peritano went off injured. Again, a great match to have someone like Koulibaly back in the side. I think I read a stat that it just showed how much they missed him in a way. Uh, he registered, I think, 5 interceptions, had 3 tackles and 2 clearances, while no other Napoli player gained possession more times than him. He gained possession 7 times. So I think kind of feel like maybe in a way it's the strength in depth of the side that actually came through in the second half. Again, Inter Milan has such a big squad, but again, it was someone like Edin Dzeko who scored a wonderful goal. And again, to be honest, it did favor a little bit Napoli a little bit, but then they just couldn't find that second goal. Uh, So I think a great result. But the biggest winners, obviously, we're going to come to them. Milan.
Yeah, so again, this was something that we discussed. If a draw was to happen between these two teams and Milan wins their match, so they would come out on top in the weekend, and that is exactly what happened. So Milan won 1-0 at Sampdoria at home. Rafael Leao scoring the goal in 8th minute. The goalkeeper for Sampdoria, he actually had a great match, great saves. I don't recollect his name as usual. So um, again, in such matches, when you know that you have an opportunity to go at the summit of the table, performances do matter, but results are so much more important. And again, Milan brought over the line. They now lead the Serie A. So yeah, the title race is on. Rahul?
Yeah, I think Rafa Leao again cannot stop scoring, and another great goal from the youngster. The goalkeeper being, let me tell you, Falcone, I think that's his name. Yeah, Vladimiro Falcone, that's his name. I think like another Italian goalkeeper. There are so many, and there are so many good Italian goalkeepers right now. I think obviously because of the fact that this match was played after the Napoli Inter game, Milan knew what they had to do. It's as simple as that. Like it would have been so disappointing, so disheartening, not to me, but then in general, and mainly to Milan fans, if they hadn't really capitalized on on the Inter Milan and Napoli result. So yes, a 1-0 victory, they got 3 points, they got the job done. That's what matters, I think. But the goal again, the assist actually came from their goalkeeper Mike Mignon, who's been putting in some consistently great performances. And I also read another chat that this is, I think, the first time that something like this has happened since 2006. And even the last time that happened, it was the former Milan goalkeeper Dida, I think. Dida, yeah. So,
Yeah, it was Dida.
Dida, yeah. So again, this is, I think, a tradition with Milan of goalkeepers providing assists. So yeah, let's see how they do it, how they take it from here. I mean, they're top of the league now, and obviously Inter Milan have a game in hand. But again, the pressure is just something else when you're not at the top of the league, irrespective of whether you have a game in hand or not. We've clearly seen how Tottenham had dealt with it in England. They were favorites for the fourth spot. They had 4 games in hand, and all of a sudden they've lost 2 games in a row.
And you know what the past couple of weekends have actually shown us is that with so many good teams in Serie A, everything can change in a matter of weeks. Inter Milan facing off against the second and the third best team at that point of time per the table, and 2 weeks in and they are no longer at the top spot, and this will happen for all the positions. So something that we have been harping about for quite some time now. There will be so many twists and turns, and let's just see what the next installment has for us. um, in the other match, Sassuolo against Roma, both the teams lost their Coppa Italia quarterfinals over the week. And in this match, actually, Tammy Abraham scored the opening goal for Roma. They got into the lead, but Sassuolo came back with 2 goals. And finally, again, an extra time goal from Cristante, match ending in a 2-2 draw. Rahul?
I think first of all, finally Roba figured out, who should be the penalty taker. We've seen this 3 or 4 times. There were times when Veretout wanted to take a penalty, missed, and then even Lorenzo Pellegrini wanted to take a penalty, missed. Finally, the number 9, Tammy Abraham. This has happened to him so many times. Even at Chelsea, he wanted to take a penalty, but then Aspilicueta was like, "No, you're not taking a penalty." So finally, he got to take his penalty, and he actually scored as well. But then I think I'll again talk about Tottenham here. So maybe Mourinho has gone from the Tottenham of Premier League to the Tottenham of Roma in a way. The only difference is that maybe he like at least get to spend some money here. Plus, the league is not very good. But yeah, uh, in a way, this looked like loss. But finally, because of the red card as well to Sassuolo's defender and goal defender, who was sent off, they at least managed to get away with a draw. So I mean, it's been like this. They're just not good enough right now to finish in the top four. They are a decent side, but yeah, they need to spend a lot more and they need to sign some better players to maybe finish. Think of finishing in the top four in a Champions League place sometime.
Yes, Rahul. So what happened was Mourinho was actually given a 3-year project at Roma, and of course, promises would have been made to him for more effective signings. Did not really happen. They did get um,
Maitland
ASCII
Niles,
player,
Sergio
Maitland
Oliveira.
Niles. Yeah, they got two players in the winter transfer window, but let's see. They will do. I'm sure they'll do a lot more to strengthen the squad. But again, in a manner of speaking, maybe both the teams will be happy with a point because even Sassuolo were down to 10 minutes. So the fact that they did not lose will be of some, you know, happiness to them. Even for Roma, 94th minute, they got a, draw. So I think it's okay. They'll try to improve the next week.
Uh,
And finally, we have,
I
yes,
think
Rahul.
just another howler from a goalkeeper. So this time, I think we talked about Tottenham. So yeah, even Tottenham had a howler by Lloris, and now even Roma's goalkeeper had a howler. I think the first goal
Yeah,
that
yeah, Patricio, the
Rui
first goal.
Patricio,
Yeah,
yeah, and even
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Sassuolo's player, the winger Hamad Traore, Amad Diallo's brother, just cannot stop scoring. I think he scored a wonderful goal against Juventus, and now again a couple of goals against Roma. Maybe this is his purple patch. We're seeing him break through. Maybe this is going to be his breakout season. So let's see.
Yeah, and finally we had Atlanta against Juventus. Uh, I don't remember the predictions, but um, again, 94th minute, I guess. So on 92nd minute this time around, Danielo equalizing for Juventus. So maybe they'll be happy with a point. Atalanta definitely will not be happy because they thought they had done the job, got all 3 points, especially after their loss last time around. So with Vlahovic away at Atalanta, especially with AC Milan, winning their match, Napoli and Inter drawing. So it was a great chance for Juventus to kind of close the gap with the top three. That unfortunately did not happen for them. But yeah, all in all, good match to watch. Great match, but I don't think it does either team any. Um, I mean, it doesn't bring any value to both the teams. Getting just 1 point out of this match. Of course, extra time, injury time, Juventus will be happy with it, but they would have gone in in this match, thinking of trying to get all three. Rahul?
I kind of feel like this was a golden opportunity for Juventus to get all 3 points. I think in a way Allegri got his tactics wrong. I feel like the strategy of starting with all three strikers worked against Verona, but I think in this match it didn't really work. Maybe they should have kept someone like Morata on the bench because clearly, like the fact that they started with he started with all three. When it was time to make a substitute and bring on a striker, they didn't really have anyone. And again, I'm not really counting Moise again. I think they brought on a youngster Marley AK or someone. So again, had they maybe started with someone like Quadrado and then brought on someone like Morata, that would have been better for Juventus. Other than that, I think Marinowski scored great goal. He scored 3 goals against Juventus, all three as a substitute. So yeah, he definitely likes playing against Juventus. Other than that, I think another reason why this was a golden opportunity was because most of these matches they are actually decided by even the corresponding fixture was decided by Duan Zapata's goal. So yes, the fact that he was missing, it actually gave Juventus a lot of onus, a lot of impetus uh, to get away with all 3 points, but they couldn't. So technically, I think drop point for Juventus. Even though I know I wanted Atlanta to win, but then Juventus should have taken advantage of this opportunity and they couldn't.
Yes, Rahul, agreed. Yeah. So that is how it was. I think that brings us to the end of this podcast. Rahul, would you like to talk about the Porto Sporting match and the clash that happened at the end?
Oh yes, I think this match took place on Friday, and yeah, I think Sporting Lisbon, they knew that they needed to get 3 points because they are behind. They're the defending champions. They are behind Porto. They're still 6 points behind Porto. So had they managed to win this game, the difference uh, would have only been 3 points. But then that didn't really happen. It was more of a six-pointer, but then it again ended in a draw, and it did look like that Sporting was going to succeed. They took they ran away like with a 2-0 lead, but then Fabio Vieira, the midfielder, I think he's had such a sensational game in my opinion. Uh, Ever since Luis Diaz has left, he has taken over the mantle. So yes, has been providing the goals, providing the assists, and then Sebastian Coates, a former Liverpool defender, was actually shown his second yellow and was sent off. And Sporting played almost the entire second half with 10 men, and again that gave Sporto the idea to equalize. And Madi Taremi, for people who don't remember Madi Taremi, he's the guy who scored that wonderful goal against Chelsea in last season's quarter final. So yeah, uh, scored the equalizer, and then the game ended 2-all. But then the best part was next day I saw a video of all these Sporting and Porto players sent off, including João Palhinha, someone like Pepe. The commentator kept calling him Pep for some reason. So yeah, it was 4 players got sent off, and but again, it helped. Like it helped Porto because now they're still 6 points ahead of Sporting Lisbon. Another stat that I read was this was Pepe's first red card in at least league matches since I think 2011 or 2010. So I'm just surprised that he's not had a red card in league play in so long.
Yeah, even that surprises me. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how he has managed that. But okay, good for him. 11 years, no red card in the lead. I think with that we come to the end of our this podcast. It was a pretty long one,
Yeah.
but I hope we did justice to the kind of football action that happened over the weekend. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. We'll be back with our next episode quite soon. Take care and bye bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.